Join me for the pledge of allegiance. Off if you would.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Looks like we do have a quorum. I would be happy to entertain a motion to excuse the mayor. She was not feeling well today.
Motion, you excuse the mayor.
Okay,
I'll second that motion.
any other comments on it? Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Okay. Let's see, I have two other business items to add. First, we have a couple of liquor license renewals and resolution 334A, which is a surplusing resolution. Anybody else have any thing they'd like to add to other business? No. And we're gonna move Todd up from Todd Johnson up from down at item 12 up to the planning commission report. Just out of efficiency. So I would entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
I make a motion, we accept the consent agenda.
Second it. That motion.
Sounds like Jamie got it. Got a motion and a second. Anybody have questions about the consent agenda? Other than bills and payroll requiring the signatures, those kind of go separate. All right. All in favor of the consent agenda? Great, aye. And let's do some department reports.
I think the chief had a call. I do have his report. It looks like there was a total of 46 calls. For Toledo, agency assist, 6 animal calls, 2 assault offenses, 1 attempt to contact, 5 public contacts, 1 death investigation, 1 disorderly disturbance, fireworks, harassment, 8 informal, 1 juvenile issue, 3 suspicious circumstances, 2 suspicious vehicle, 1 traffic criminal, 4 traffic infractions, and 1 theft, 3 warrants, and 2 911 hangups. Are there any questions that need to be passed on to PD?
What was the death one?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Could have just been a random call about anything.
Okay. How about City Hall then?
Oh, I didn't do a formal one, but I did get an update on our TIB chip seal grant application. It doesn't look like that's gonna get funded this year, but we do have something on the agenda tonight for the TIB sidewalks. I moved Public Works to 410s and they're doing rotating schedules, and then Connor, Jay, and John are all rotating weekends now. Jay's been here over a year now, so John's had quite a break for weekends. I think one of them's doing weekends every week. They're gonna get burnt out, so they'll start rotating. And I think having them working 410s is gonna do a lot better for productivity. And then Kyle McBride did bring up the ADA stuff, so I just wanted to make a comment that I am working on that. There is like a huge checklist that I have to go through for Toledo, so it's not something that's gonna happen quickly, but we did acknowledge his concern at the last meeting, and it is something that's on my plate for the next couple of weeks. Any questions?
No, but while you are talking about handicap parking spots, there are, in addition to the 2 on the boat ramp that Kyle brought up, there are 2 on Ramsey, 1 on Augustus and Ramsey. One of the ones at the boat ramp is a van, one at the post office, 1 at El Tejano, an informal one at the Gallery 505, and 2 up at the senior center. And it sounds like we need 1 in front of City Hall.
Yeah, and I already have the ordinance for that. I just wanted to get this packet done so I could roll it all out at once. So I do plan on having a handicap parking out front. The ordinance passed at the next meeting, so by the end of the month we should have
Great.
handicap access here.
And we have a nice flat spot there because it can't be more than 2 degrees.
Yep.
Great. Anybody have questions?
There's
for
2 at the
City?
grocery store too.
And 2, yeah, I actually didn't do the rest of the grocery store.
Yeah, that's all
and the
private.
schools there, yeah.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Okay.
And Jay, go ahead, Jay.
My name's Jay Crow. I'm the Public Works Assistant. For our daily procedures and testing, we did have a few minor issues this go around, but none were major enough to result in the downtime of services. At the wastewater treatment plant, our big generator is partially down with some issues in the cooling system. We do have a service technician coming out this upcoming Friday. It can still run in a pinch, but it's the program that it runs automatically once a week to stay fresh. Just kind of, we're having some issues in the cooling system. Also at the wastewater treatment plant, our sludge transfer pump for digester 1, which is pretty much the pump that gets it from the digester to our screw press, is also having some electrical problems. We did some troubleshooting last week to kind of nail it down to see if it was something we could repair or not, but we also have technicians coming out for that soon. I don't know if we can schedule them yet. But that, again, we can run in a pinch because thankfully everything comes in tiers of the treatment plant, so. We did have a service line break on Oak Street that was since repaired. There's no large scale downtime. It was between South Second and South Third. As far as the inventory goes, this has kind of been Connor's primary task when he's not working elsewhere. Just any time he's alone or we're in between something else, he's kind of sneaks off to the shop and enters in everything he can. Right now, we're up to 80 total pieces of equipment that have been added to iWorks. We're just having to kind of start big with our like push mowers and snow blower and all that stuff and trickle down. Seems to be working out pretty well. Scheduling, as Rachel mentioned, Connor is going full time starting today, and so we made some scheduling adjustments. And also moving forward, I or anybody else representing Public Works will only be attending the first city council meeting to maintain involvement while minimizing disruption to our workflow. In the other category, with the absence of our camp host, we have incorporated park maintenance the past couple weeks, but I think it is kind of shifting back to the park host with some of our presence still maintained. All of the public works staff attended a hydrant testing day with the fire department. We completed that and we have tested 6 of our 48 hydrants so far, and we're going to proceed this week. Hopefully we can get it done before next council meeting, mostly this week. And also I attended a AWC training on risk management of trees in urban areas. That's all I got.
Fantastic.
Any questions?
Yeah, did you forego getting numbered decals to put on inventory?
Yes, for the time being. We didn't see. We're just trying to get them entered as quickly as we can. And I don't know how practical it would be for us to label everything.
I think once it's in, you guys could go back and index anything that you need.
Yeah, and we also plan on adding pictures and additional stuff as well, but just to meet our deadline, we wanna at least get a list so we can submit to grants and whatnot. But as far as, we do plan on expanding the management side of things afterwards as well. So using the program to monitor like maintenance schedules and stuff for some of the things.
Those decals actually identify them as city property, and they're also a good way to keep track of what's missing and what's not.
Yes, I do acknowledge that.
Yeah, especially when you have multiple of the same thing, kind of helps you know which is which.
Right.
I think once you've got more things in the inventory, it'll be obvious what items are high ticket or need to be tracked.
Well, we just got a label maker too. They can always make their own labels rather than buy.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Like they would say City of Toledo and then have a unique number on them so that you can know what that is.
Yeah.
And at least
No, I do.
big things like power
I agree.
washers and generators.
Anything else? All right.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Council reports. Tony, I'll let you start.
Nothing for me this
Okay.
time.
And let's see.
Um,
Rebecca.
Nothing to report except Thursday is National Purple Heart Day to remember wounded and fallen soldiers.
It's good to know. Kathy,
Nothing to report.
Jamie.
Yeah, nothing.
I have a couple things because I think maybe it's not quite clear what Winlock and Toledo are doing together. Winlock was definitely fantastic, has been supporting Toledo, but we have not turned the city over to Toledo. We do, they do,
Winlock.
I mean, to Winlock, we have turned it over to ourselves. To Winlock, we don't, they do not do permitting, they do our inspections on a contract inspection by inspection basis. They are, we have an ILA with them to back us up if our water sewer, if we have public works issues and we need a
Certified.
certified level 2 wastewater treatment plant. And they do our police, but managed through us, and we do contract with their judge, the same judge, and we use their court clerk, but we do provide our own public, our own prosecutor and our own public defendant. So we do definitely appreciate them for that. And that's about it.
Yeah, we do our plan reviews and permits.
Yeah, we do all the plan reviews and permits, but they do our inspections. Okay, so committee reports. Todd, you still with us?
Thank you. I don't know if Chair Birch is in attendance tonight, and if he wanted to give his portion first.
He's not here.
Okay. So thank you and good evening, members of council. I just wanted to talk with you a little bit. Lewis County, if you all remember, we talked about entering into an interlocal agreement originally with Lewis County, and I got council approval to proceed with that discussion. As that discussion progressed, though, the complexity and the cost of the city, basically the direction I got at that point was that was something the city wasn't interested in pursuing any longer. Many jurisdictions had the same feeling, and Lewis County has since pulled that way back to a much simpler interlocal agreement. And this all relates to their adoption of the rules as to how they process permits within the urban growth areas. So this wouldn't apply anywhere in city limits. It would only apply in your urban growth area, which after the last annexation is really a pretty small area. So they have two options. Either the county is just going to apply the RDD 5, the Rural Development District 5 acre minimum lot size, and then the county will apply their regulations and process permits in the urban growth areas. But option 2 is what we were seeking originally, and that allows the cities to, if the county adopts the city's zoning in the UGA, and then they apply that zoning in the UGA with the city's code. So the county is still a decision maker. They have responsibility for everything outside city limits, but under option 2, they at least will apply our code and our development regulations and our zoning. So I thought, well, that sounds interesting again, especially because they pulled out many of the elements that were in the ILA that was in there previously that made us abandon that path. So that option 2 requires an ILA. Option 1 doesn't require an ILA. I've included in the council packet tonight the letter that the county sent out reminding us that they needed a decision on this by August 8th. To this point, I have expressed an interest in being an option 2 city on behalf of Toledo through my participation in the Planned Growth Committee. But that's just me expressing interest in it. I haven't committed the city to anything, nor can I. I've also included a copy of the draft ILA that the county's prepared. And if you look at that in the packet, it does show that it's a much simpler version. They're not talking about a lot of the cost transfers with annexation. They're no longer requiring the city to commit to paying anything for the roadways upon annexation and many of the other elements that are there. There are still some elements in there that may add expense to the city. I believe that the city has to pay for fire inspections inside the urban growth areas if they're an option 2 city. That's something that they're agreeing to. Should the fire district have a fire investigation into something fire related that requires that, I don't know exactly what that is or how often it might happen. Might be worthwhile to check with the fire district on that one, I guess. But really what I'm looking for tonight is just questions or concerns or some confirmation that this again sounds interesting. This doesn't commit you to the ILA. It's still in a draft form, so we would still have to bring that back to you all for final review and approval. But the county's just looking for who's interested in participating in this and who's not, and so that's really the question I'm bringing back to you all tonight. It doesn't really take a vote. I just kind of need some direction, opinion, and questions that I can even bring back to the county. And then if you're interested in pursuing this to the next step, then I'll engage with them further and ask them to provide updated drafts of the ILA, and then we can provide comments back on those and see if we can work out any other things that remain in there that concern the city or city council.
I like option 2. I think it helps us kind of maintain what we want to do down the road.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's worth looking into to see what it really entails when we get right down to it.
And I think once we get a more fleshed out ILA, then we can let our lawyer look at it and make sure there's no gotchas in there. The first time it came up, I preferred that as well. It gives us a little more, as Tony said, a little more control so that we don't end up with a whole bunch of 5-acre houses in what we were hoping to be our UGA.
So in selecting option 2, are we gonna have to regularly get together and say, okay, this bunch here is proposing this?
Yeah, the planning commission does that, and then that will happen after our urban growth is expanded. Right now, we're at the limit of our urban growth. So
This just asks the county to stay within our zoning, our current zoning requirements, if they should allow anything to be built in that urban growth area before it's annexed, is my understanding.
If it would help, I can maybe share a map too. Oh, maybe not. I have our urban growth area, so I can pull up a map if Cindy, maybe you can enable me to share, or I can't see your head. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let me just share this here. So this is our proposed zoning. This is not the current zoning. If I turn off the zoning, and so the hatched area on the map that's in the black hatching, let me just turn off the aerial photo here for just a minute. I'll turn it back on again for context. This area in black hatching is our urban reserve area. So that's an area that won't be covered by this ILA. I've asked the county if we can address that in a future ILA for how that urban reserve area transitions into the city. So really what we're talking about is, and this map has lines over lines, but this area here was all annexed. So the only area that we're talking about now is basically these portions over here of our urban growth area. So, you know, kind of over here to the to the north and east of Toledo Vader, and kind of to the south and west of Flamondon. These parcels over here is what we're talking about. So we're not expanding our urban growth area with this go around, but we are planning on expanding our urban growth area into the hatched area here to include even more property. So right now there's not a lot of property that this ILA would apply to. It doesn't impact anything in city limits. It only impacts the urban growth area. So really we're just talking about kind of this area in here.
I think just
all the
that
way up
lower
here.
area, Todd, that upper area where your cursor just was, that's our wells and watershed. And right where your cursor is right now is the high school. And we did bring that in. So just that right there, that's our watershed. So it is really just east.
Yeah, the high school came
east
in
of London.
with that. I'm sorry I don't have those layers updated. I thought I did have those in my UGA layers.
No.
Yeah,
I haven't.
I just made that.
Oh, yeah,
I'm dogging on my map.
it is.
It looks like I have lines over lines, so I probably haven't upgraded the UGA area. I just updated the city
Yeah.
limit.
It's just
And
direction for yes or no.
this is the zoning that Planning Commission's been working on for those areas too. This hasn't yet been presented to council, so it'll all come to you all sometime, I hope, in October, November. We're going to have a Planning Commission public hearing on all of this. They've been working on this for the last year and a half now, so.
That's great, Todd. It sounds like option 2 was the thing to progress with farther. So thank you very
Okay,
much.
well, that's the direction I need, and I'll be sure to engage with you all again as that progresses, and Rachel and I can continue to work with the county on what the ILA contains. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
Great,
Todd. And then
thank
we
you.
can send it over to Buzzard too to do that final review. So just give me a couple weeks before to have them be able to review it to make sure those
Yeah,
concerns are all
I'll
met.
communicate a confirmation of interest back to the county. And then if I noticed that there were some highlighted areas in the version that got posted, so we can communicate back questions on those areas to the county too, if that's something that you want to do, Rachel. We can talk more about it.
Sounds good, Todd.
And if there aren't any other planning items on the agenda tonight, I would also ask that I be excused from the remainder of the meeting, and I can get on to other things.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, Todd.
Okay, thank you all.
Can I go too?
Nope.
All right. And Park Board, do we have somebody from the Park Board? We do.
And I'm Elizabeth Yule, Park Board Chair. Some updates for you guys. We have Amy Archer doing our shirts. As we get sponsors, we're giving her the names because she gave us a little bit of an extension on how long we have to get the names filed. So now we can get them all to her by the 16th. Sarah and I are going to be calling a bunch of possible sponsors this week. Cindy was amazing, and she sent out emails to all of these businesses so they know we're coming for them. We have added an extra workshop on the 25th, so we can really get everything together and make sure we have a clear path and everybody has what jobs that they're going to be doing so that we can have a well-oiled machine. We're going to be distributing posters, Toledo, Winlock. We have a few different volunteers that are going to be helping us out to make sure that everybody knows what's going to happen. And the daughter of Esther Gordy and the great-granddaughter are going to be decorating the jars for the raffle with Esther Gordy's fabric, which is really exciting because it adds a little bit of personal stuff to it, and that's great. And then we also have, for every person that registers, they'll also get 5 tickets to put in whatever raffle jar they want. So that is very exciting. Do you guys have any questions?
What's the date?
The date is September 6th. And it will be from 9 to 11. We just have to update our flyers. We realized we needed more time for the walk, for the speeches, and for the raffle.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. we do not have a public hearing tonight, but we do have a presentation, or we have two presentations, the first of which is from the Greater Toledo Heritage and Horizons PowerPoint, or I guess you're not called the PowerPoint, are you?
I know some of you, my name's Larry Davidson. I grew up here in Toledo. My family's been part of Toledo since 1900, almost on a continuous basis. So my background is here. The presentation we're going to do is a combination of Joe Notch's ideas and a few of my own as well. We formed a new Washington nonprofit. We have pending 501c3. Okay, the presentation we're doing will start with a little bit of the heritage setting and background information that leads you into what we're proposing for what we call the Greater Toledo area, of which Toledo City is part of that. So here we go. I'm not going to do a lot of talking. As you can see, we brought along Simon Plumenden to address this plan in depth. So I'm going to turn it over to him. Oh, no.
Though today you most likely know me as
That's working.
I came to this land when the cowlets flowed free, and the trails were no more than whispers in the trees. The year was 1820, a time before names, before borders, before this place was called anything at all. But even then, I saw what it could become, a place where families could live close to the land, where river and forest would provide, and where a community might take root and thrive. The Cowlitz tribe resident in the area were warm and welcoming, and we became a part of their community. I made my home here, raised a family with Thasimuth, daughter of Chief Shanawa. We didn't claim the land, we belonged to it and to each other. In time, others came, some by foot, some by river. The trees gave way to timber, the river to commerce. Then came the steamboat, proud and churning, her paddle wheels slicing through the morning mist. The steamboat Toledo brought goods, news, and settlers, tying this place to the world beyond. It was in 1881, as the Kellogg Company prepared to build a new warehouse along the bank, that Celeste Rochon stood watching the steamer glide by and said aloud, "Let's call it Toledo." And so it was. What began as a landing for trade became a gathering place for dreams, a town forged from river and resilience. The town took root and carried on, shaped by hands that came after mine. Logging camps spread through the hills, and a short local rail helped move timber to the mill. At the same time, the steamboat Toledo churned steadily along the Cowlitz, tying this place to the world beyond with every turn of her wheel. These were the engines of early Toledo, rail and river side by side. In time, the paddle wheel days faded. The steamboat no longer plied the Cowlitz, her wake now stilled in memory. But the name she left behind endured. Time moved on, and the river valley settled into its rhythm of community life. The deep trails carved by water and work still shaped the lives of those who remained, and the steady pace of rural life continued. By 1919, another chapter had begun to unfold. The scent of dairy and salt filled the air as local farmers formed the Cowlitz Valley Cheese Association. At the edge of town, a cheese factory turned milk into cheddar and butter, and cold blocks of ice kept the day's work preserved. For decades, it stood as a symbol of community cooperation and rural enterprise. And to this day, you honor its memory and respect for the past. Families stayed and new ones came, drawn by the land, the water, and the promise of something enduring. Through the years, this town became a home where children were raised with calloused hands and strong values. Neighbors knew each other by name. The post office, the hardware store, the bank, and the barber shop stood as cornerstones, anchors of a town where lessons were learned in classrooms and stories were shared in passing on Main Street. The seasons were measured not just by weather, but by the rhythm of work, school days, and familiar faces. Not much big headlines here, and that was just fine. It was a place of persistence, of rural pride, of people content to live where their roots ran deep. And still, it holds to its sense of place, rounded, weathered, and quietly proud. But that was only the beginning. What we built then with grit, timber, and current must now be reimagined for a new century. Just as the steamboat once opened these lands to the world, you now stand at another turning point. The roads, the river, the people, they remain. But the needs have changed. Change will come, whether you choose it or not. But if you act together, you can guide that change, not be overtaken by it. You can protect the soul of this rural town while strengthening its future. That's why a small group of residents, part of the greater Toledo community, have stepped forward, not to change what Toledo is, but to reinvigorate its heritage and foster a future where the economy can grow and the community can endure. They are sharing a proposal to breathe new life into Old Town and strengthen the heart of this community. They do not claim to own the path ahead, but they offer one, rooted in respect for what was and guided by hope for what could be. This is not a reinvention. It is a renewal, grounded in the same values that carried us this far. And so, once more, it's time to shape the course ahead. Back when I first came ashore on these riverbanks, it was with hope, not for conquest, but for community. The land, the forest, the flow of the Cowlitz, these were not resources to extract, but roots to grow from. And now, after so many seasons, I see those roots bearing new fruit. This is not just development, it's renewal. The Toledo Civic Center rising along Plommondon Road, this is a new heart for public service, shaped with rural values and built for generations to come. Down by the old storefronts, Old Town is coming back to life, not as a museum, but as a living crossroads of neighbors, crafts, and shared memory. And just beyond, at Wallace Pond, the call of the steamboat returns, not in commerce, but in culture. The Steamboat Theater and Recreation Rentals open a new stage for stories, songs, and families gathered on warm summer evenings. These three projects carry one vision, anchored not in concrete or tax codes, but in heritage. And they stand on solid ground, the Lacamas Creek Gateway. There at the crossroads, Lacamas Creek Station welcomes travelers with charm and purpose, while the industrial park opens a path for the next generation of makers and doers. It's all connected, history and hope, craft and commerce, place and people. And if you listen close, I think you'll hear it too. The sound of a small town rising together. That's a vision worth building. In my day, a town's strength was measured by its unity, how well its people gathered, governed, and cared for one another. And now, just beyond the river, I see that same spirit rising again in a new place built not for power, but for service. The Toledo Civic Center at Plommondon Road brings it all together. City Hall, police, fire, senior support, and healthcare, all in one welcoming setting. No more scattered services, no more risks of flood. Just one clear, dry, accessible home for the heart of a town. These single-story buildings may look simple, but don't mistake that for small thinking. This is Northwest rural architecture with purpose, designed for dignity, for safety, and for all generations to use with ease. And here's the real gift. By moving civic services upland, Old Town can be reborn. Freed from its burden, it becomes a canvas for community, heritage, gatherings, storefronts, and song. So yes, this civic center clears the way for revitalization, but more than that, it says something powerful. Toledo still knows how to grow without forgetting who it is. That's the kind of progress that speaks even to an old pioneer like me. The day I arrived at this place, I could never have imagined the town square you see here now, a space where past and present walk hand in hand. Founders Landing reclaims Old Town with purpose. Gone are the potholes and pavement, replaced by brick, timber, and gathering places. Not for cars, not for chain stores, but for people, for neighbors, friends, and visitors. These storefronts aren't just new, they're familiar, echoes of the past, built for today. Fly rods and crafts, a tavern with a name that makes me smile, and just down the way, a path to the water, where the steamboat once called port. By day, it's a town square. By night, a festival ground. There's music in the air, laughter on the breeze, and not a parking lot in sight. This isn't expansion, it's restoration. And like all things worth building, it starts with respect. Respect for what was, and belief in what can be. Long ago, I came upstream by canoe, but it was the steamboats that turned this place into a port, connecting Toledo to the world beyond. Today, that spirit returns in a new form. At Wallace Pond, a full-size replica of the steamboat Toledo anchors a space for story, song, and celebration. This is more than a theater. It's a tribute, a living stage set upon a vessel that once carried freight and dreams alike. Families gather on benches beneath open skies, while children chase trails and splash at the pond. School groups come to learn, while actors bring history to life. Paddle boats drift nearby, and every show ends as the day fades behind the pilot house. This isn't just a performance space, it's a community place. A place where heritage comes alive, where youth can play, and where the whistle of the past sounds once again on the evening breeze. The Steamboat Theater doesn't compete with Old Town, it completes it. A natural companion to festivals, markets, and memory making for generations to come. When I first came to this land, there were no roads, no signposts, just forest, river, and opportunity. Today, the road to Toledo begins near Lacamas Creek, and we aim to make it a gateway worthy of what lies beyond. Lacamas Creek Station is more than a rest stop, it's a welcome mat. Here, travelers will find a warm hearth of information, a taste of local goods, and the spirit of a community proud of its roots. Timber frames, native plantings, and an artisan market set the tone for the journey ahead. Just beyond, the industrial park takes shape, not with smoke and steel, but with clean energy, quiet tools, and new opportunity. This is where students become skilled workers, where innovators find space to build, where Toledo's youth can train, create, and stay. In the past, opportunity came down the river. Today, it starts here, at the crossing of history and progress, at the Lacamas Creek Gateway. In the early days, the needs of a community were simple: shelter, safety, and a place to gather. Today, Toledo still holds to those values, but the ground beneath us has shifted. Our town's foundations, its buildings, its services, are aging. There's little room left to grow where it counts most. We see young people leave in search of jobs that ought to be right here. We see empty storefronts where there could be local enterprise. And while our values haven't changed, the world around us has. And it's time we responded in kind. What we propose aligns with our rural scale and spirit. It doesn't require new taxes to begin planning. Donations and grants are out there. It's about using what we have, our vision, our land, our people, to shape a future that fits us. A future that's guided not by outsiders, but by the hands and hearts of Toledo itself. Toledo is a town that was built by many hands, each with a stake in the future. That hasn't changed. What we ask now is not simply approval, but partnership, of vision, of voice, and of effort. To the City Council, your role is to guide the path forward, help shape a long-range plan, support the early work, and bring county leaders to the table. These are the framing beams of a new future. To the people of Toledo, this is your moment. Support the vision. Make it yours. Share your stories of place, of family, of what matters most. Join the effort. Lend your voice, your heart, your hand. Together, we can build what's next. The steamboat's wake may be still, but the river flows on, and so must we. From the days when I first came ashore, I knew this place held a spirit stronger than time, built not by chance but by choice. Each generation faces its own current, its own crossings. Now it is your time. So I thank you for listening, for caring, and I hope for stepping forward. Together, you can chart a course that honors the past, serves the present, and guides the future. The river still flows, and with courage, so will Toledo.
Okay, well, there we go. This is something that Joe and I have been working on. Very, very long hours for the last several months, pulling this all together. This is our vision of what we see the future could be for Toledo and the greater Toledo community, because it's more than just Toledo. It's the greater community. Everyone is affected. And this is what we see can happen. What we talk about here for our nonprofit is we're going to be actively now starting on grants for operational funding for the nonprofit, followed by project-specific type grant money and donations. So projects like the Steamboat Theater, acquiring the park to do that. Projects like, you know, building some of the other structures we talked about. So we will be focusing the nonprofit organization on those kinds of activities where we're going out and trying to find funding on a national scale to come in and help do these things we see in the presentation. I know you mentioned at the planning meeting about zoning and all that other issue. There's a concept called a LAMERID, which is a local area of more intense rural development that meets the Washington Growth Management Act for allowing some commercial growth on a limited scale within those areas around the city. And so we've already had discussions with the county about that. So this is what we're proposing. That gives you an idea of what we've been working on. And we'd like to see this happen. And again, what we're asking is the Toledo City to perhaps get on board with this long-term plan, start working with us in this kind of a direction, and move things forward. Any questions or other things that I can answer from anyone, including the audience?
Are you collaborating with the Historical Society?
I'm a member of the Historical Society, and yes, in a way we are, but this goes well beyond the Historical Society, but yet it also would be supporting the Historical Society. For example, in our detailed plans, one of the things we talk about is actually building a building for the Historical Society. So yes, we're working with them in the sense that we want to help provide larger support to that organization. And again, I'm a member of the Historical Society. Any other thoughts or comments?
And have you communicated with the Planning Commission?
The Lewis County Planning Commission? Yeah.
No, our
No, not here. This is our first introduction. We wanted to make sure the council saw what we're proposing first and get support from the council, so then we can move to the Planning Commission and start talking about more of the details. So we're trying to do it in a systematic approach for informing people before you all of a sudden see a surprise pop up on your desk. So that's what we're going with. So, any other thoughts? Okay. And late breaking news that I just found historically searching, the Toledo sank in the Willamette River in October of 1896. They were going to raise it and rebuild the hull. I can't find any evidence that they actually did that, so that may have been the final demise. It was outside of Ray's Landing, about 2 miles south of the Yamhill River, which it was making runs from Portland up to Dayton, Oregon, carrying freight and passengers. And they had made a trip down to Portland on the return trip. It was late in the evening and they hit a snag. So we think that was the final demise. Okay, well, thank you all for listening and taking time to review our presentation here. And we're happy to talk to anybody or each other. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
I like the renovation idea. It's exactly what I was thinking when I hung that up.
Oh,
Thank you for bringing that to us. All right, Toledo Tel event invitation. Cynthia, there we go. You must be Cynthia Angel.
Yes. I'm Cynthia Mudd and I'm the director for the Centralia Shayla's Chamber of Commerce. And Toledo Dell is one of our members we're very proud of, and the history is a big part of it. They're a gem in this area. They're over 100 years old and still local to help, and have evolved with technology and the community's needs all these years and continue to expand. And so we're very proud to introduce Jen Nadish to talk a little bit about the invitation.
Yeah, so I am employed with Toledo Tel. Became a board member for the Centralia Shayla's Chamber about 4 months ago, I think it was. The chamber does business after hours at various locations once a month throughout Lewis County and other areas. We are scheduled for Thursday, September 18 at the shop on Pondavon. And we're going to incorporate with that business after hours, sort of a customer appreciation. So as most are aware that we've been working on the Winlock expansion for fiber for a while. That's coming to a close, hopefully very soon. We'll get everybody hooked up that wants it. And unfortunately, the time frame to be involved with the grant process to get fiber to your home is come and gone, but it's still available if those folks so choose to do so down the road. So that being said, we would like to invite you, committee members, council members, community members, to come and join us on the 18th at 5 o'clock for the business after hours and customer appreciation. So we'll be attending the Winlock City Council meeting next week and inviting those folks as well. So if we could ask this committee to pass on a word for the other businesses and fire department and police department, whoever would like to attend, you're more than welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? All right, thank you for your time. Have a nice evening.
Thank you for letting us come here.
There's some flyers right here on the table. Someone else put on them. Okay. You work for Dale on them. I did it. You will. He is a good guy. Thanks, folks. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
All right, now I'd like to open it up for public comment on agenda items.
Okay.
No public comment on agenda items. Okay, let's get to it then. New business. Number 1 is the water main repair bid. You want to talk about this? This
Sure.
really looked like a
So this is something that Jamie requested. I'm sorry it took me so long to get it. It's the water main. So there is a graph in here, and an email, I believe. And I'm working with Gray and Osborne on this. We were gonna apply for an emergency grant. I think the funding for this year is closed, so the bid for it is in here as you requested. And Gray and Osborne's just working with me on getting some bid options or grant options together. So I should have a couple options for grants in the next week or two. I think one of them is going to have to be that loan, that lower percent loan that you pulled up a while ago, but there's some grants that we can match with that. So it's that line that's exposed. It's only exposed in a certain area, but it's been brought up that the whole line needs to be replaced. They might be able to answer questions on it, maybe not.
I know that we have a interim non-fix in place just to
We
stop
do.
trees from falling.
We do, but
But
again, we could also wait and just get the emergency grant next year. I'm just trying to get a couple of options and then I'll bring them to you guys and see which route you want me to take. But it is something that needs to get fixed sooner rather than later.
This map with the red and the blue. So the red is what is proposed.
Correct.
And the blue, is that not affected or?
That's the existing water line. It seems like they're gonna move it, is that right, Jay? And that's the proposed, they plan on just moving it, because this is all like hillside and rocky and
Yeah. what they
like
do is
not really
they're gonna just
accessible.
Put a new one.
Right,
And
so then
the
rather
existing
than
one is
repairing
gonna
it,
be, Uh.
nothing. Yeah.
Not connected to our system.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why it's kind of fallen behind on everything, is just because it's really not accessible. It's kind of difficult, and I know they had problems getting trucks in there and getting an excavator in there. So yeah, that'll just be this.
That's not what I'm asking. The blue goes up the hill farther than the red does.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'm asking is, are we eliminating that section?
From the well to the storage reservoirs.
Oh,
Yeah, that won't be a water line anymore, correct? They're just gonna put a new one in.
Well, they'll go from the well to
We
the
don't-
storage line, but then be
Yeah.
off of that as
so
well.
that
Correct.
would be red going from the well.
That blue line there
out
is
to
existing.
join the red, right?
Yeah.
Right, so the well, the reservoir is still gonna be there. It's just they're moving this one because it's in a hilled area, and they're gonna replace it with this.
She's concerned about bringing them up.
This?
Yeah.
It's a-
That's not going anywhere.
That's gonna stay,
Yeah.
that top line stays there. So
It'll-
they'll block
it
off,
actually
they'll block
goes-
off the blue line.
Yeah, it's still gotta go to the well.
And then a new line there, so.
Correct.
So that is actually intact. The
This,
above is.
the reservoir is a well?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
correct? Yes.
Yeah.
So there'll be more on that. It was just, I know something that you were
Okay, but
asking
this is
for.
actually just informational.
Yeah, it should have been there informational. It's my fault. I'll bring grants when I got them.
Okay. Any other questions about that?
I believe it's a different material, just completely different pipe from the well to the reservoir that you were talking about, like, it's not a concern.
That's what all
It's accessible, it's intact. The biggest part about is the inaccessibility, and also it's not buried very deep in certain areas, just because it's not a grounds we can maintain. That break that we just had, it was only, I'd say, 12 inches buried, which just isn't very much for a thin wall cast iron main pipe, so. But the other one goes under the road, it's not a concern,
Excellent.
just to clarify.
and there's no lid.
What's that?
There's no lid.
No.
Okay. Thank you, Jay. All right, so thank you for the information. Let's move on to the 2025 park host contract. So we have a new park host.
Yeah, we'll do an introduction here soon, I promise. So the only thing that's, oh, I need to make. Yeah, motion first.
Can I get a motion for the contract?
I'll make a motion that we accept the 2025 post contract.
And second,
It basically is, there's some,
I need a second. I need a second or
okay, I'd like to amend the,
Gotta have a second first. Somebody needs to second it. or-
We can,
yeah, we can add them in. Somebody wants
yeah, I'll
to.
second it, cause I'm not gonna.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Okay, I have Rebecca, Tommy, and let's open for discussion. Have at it, Jamie.
Okay, what I wanted to clarify is this is not actually an entirely new contract, it's changes to the existing contract, correct?
correct.
So I wanted to amend it to say that we accept the changes to the existing contract.
I can second that.
Okay, that has been amended and seconded. So do we want to have some more conversation about this?
Looks like the only change was just Washington City's insurance authority instead of RMSA.
And we're signing a new contract. I was asked if I thought this needed to come to council, and I said, I think whenever the mayor signs a contract like this, that it needs to come to council.
Yeah, we're changing the insurance. It was just, we had to list out the RMSA stuff too.
That's the only.
But
change
that's
you
the
made.
only change. Yep, everything else is the same. We were just adding that one section, so it was, yeah, brought back.
I really appreciate you having the diffs on this so we can see it. Very helpful.
Yeah, and this was actually reviewed by the attorneys, so It's a good contract.
Any other discussion? No? Okay.
Well,
Okay.
let me point out that I did not push back on the last discussion of this. But it seems that you have cherry picked an IRS thing on fringe benefits. But it specifically states this is not an employer-employee contract. Therefore, fringe benefits doesn't even come into play.
This was reviewed by the attorneys. I had her check the barter contract. She said that the way we're doing it is correct. That there's nothing that needs to be filed. It's not a barter contract.
Okay.
All right.
But I did check again, sorry.
That's. All right, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
All right. The contract passes. And let's move on to the next item. Day in the Park special event application. I will entertain a motion.
Motion we accept Day in the Park special event application.
I'll second.
Motion in a second. Would, does anybody have any comments on this?
We have a couple things. So for this contract, it was recommended from the park board, that the time that they had listed for setup and tear down wasn't gonna work. Their proposed setup was 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I spoke to Rachel and let her know that they could either set up the night before, or until from morning until 9:30, which would allow the walk in the park to actually be able to enjoy their event without vendors setting up and trucks coming in. It's supposed to be a memorial. It's supposed to be like in remembrance, quiet. They don't want like trucks clanking and stuff like that. So I would ask that council approve that. And then the other thing is they're going to be using our bathrooms, which is fine. They said that they would clean up after. And then they are stating in their application that they're wanting us to make sure our dumpsters are dumped beforehand and that they would haul trash out. We are not able to do that because I'm not calling LeMay and having to make a special trip. So I am going to ask that they bring in their own cans. So that'll be something that's amended on the contract. They did state that they would be notifying everybody within the vicinity about the noise. I know that's something that hasn't really been done a lot in the past. It definitely wasn't done last year. So I did get her specifically to initial on that. And I think that was it. I don't know that there were any other requests, but these are requests specifically from the park board. So if you guys do approve this, I would ask that those things be included and I can add it in the permit that I issue with the letter.
On the garbage, I got the impression she's just hoping the park goes through somebody.
So we literally have one trash can that goes with the kitchen. I know that there's trash cans throughout, but we are having our event. It's Toledo sponsored event, which is the Esther Bordy. We're going to be needing our trash cans. We're not going to run around and have, clean up trash cans beforehand. And again, normally we require like honey buckets and dumpsters or something like that to be brought in. A lot of trash gets, there's a lot of trash at the events. So we're going to ask that they bring in their own cans. I mean, if it's only 2 or 3, that's fine, but then they can bag their own trash and take it out. And it's not on our park coast or on our public works come Monday.
So they're having a gathering of people.
Yeah.
And people are complaining that there's noise.
So what it is it's the day in the park. I'm sorry, it's the walk in the park during the day. And then it's the day in the park afterwards. In 2023, it was one event and they did them together. There was some issues there. And then moving into 2024, we definitely decided that those 2 events needed to be separate for many of reasons. So the walk in the park is it's there to remember Esther. They do a bunch of events for her, and then they do donate money back to the park board. So that way we can upgrade the park, stuff like that. The day in the park is just coming in, kind of piggybacking off of our event and setting up vendors. So they're gonna have vendors out, you know, selling purses and honey and whatever else is gonna be there. Last year, they were all setting up their stations while they were walking. So they were doing like a memorial walk. And it was trucks coming in and people are setting up easy ups and they're out there giving speeches, which it's really hard to do when people are setting up.
And there's an amplified stereo system going on, so.
Yeah, and they're playing
They
music
got to
and
enjoy
stuff.
walking the park to AC/DC Back in Black, which was awesome.
Nice.
I do like the song, but not in a, you know. I feel a bit of an obligation to protect the walk in the park.
Right.
And I don't think that setting up ahead of time and turning it into a walk in the event center is a thing. Because I'd rather see them there at 11 o'clock. And that gives them an hour before they're 12.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally up to you guys. I know Elizabeth, just, we can give them a time frame too, like you can be there, you can set up until 9 o'clock, or you can set up after 11 o'clock. So we can kind of give them options. Those were the times that Elizabeth gave me, and I think she worked them out with the Esther granddaughters. So
There's a saying, people teach you how to treat them.
right.
And so they have taught me how to treat them, and that is that I don't think that they should be there until 11 o'clock. Because they did not seem capable of caring about the walk in the park the last 2 times. And I don't have confidence that they will the third
So
time.
walk in the park is before day in the park?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Day in the
There's
Park,
separate
Day in the Park is
events.
taking advantage of walk in the park to kind of turn it into a day, which is fine. But not if you,
Okay.
not at the cost of the walk in the park.
The walk in-
Yeah, it's not a city sponsored event, and they're just kind of piggybacking off of our event. But their
Which
events,
is the
you know,
walk.
right, their event sponsors, or it's vendors and music and food and all kinds of stuff. And then the day in the park for Esther is a memorial.
You got that backwards.
What, okay,
Okay, now you're getting, okay.
This
Yeah.
one,
Walking for
this one
day
is
afterwards.
spring morning.
yes. Yes, the day in the park is the vendors.
But they're both in the same place. But the walk in the park is first.
Yes.
So do we have campers down there during all of this stuff?
I
mean, is that a?
We do, and it was brought up by someone today that that we do need to be doing I know we've actually booked the kitchen, which was something that I really thought they're talking. I
Oh, I'm
didn't
sorry.
think.
Thank you.
Thank you. I totally lost my train of thought. There is one camper right now, and it was brought up today that we need to be letting people know when they do book for that weekend, like, hey, heads up, there is actually an event, because if I was going to get away and that happened, I'd be really
Yeah,
upset.
right.
So that is something that we are gonna have to juggle. Either I've got my girls looking into it tomorrow, or we're just gonna have to, when we see those reservations come in, we're just gonna have to send them an email right back and be like, hey, just to let you know, this is going on. And we can send them the event info and allow them to, you know, cancel their reservation. I don't think there's any way to add it on our
Can you
Firefly.
black it out?
It is, we don't want to do that, because if people are wanting to come out specifically for that event, there's some people that might actually not mind that the event's there. They might be out to hang out and go down the river and stuff, and vendors might be something that doesn't bother them. I think it just needs to be.
Maybe you can put it on the calendar.
Well, it is on our calendar and it is on our website, but I think just an extra email, like, hey, just in case you missed it, because they all have to book through our website. So they go directly to our landing page. From there, they go into the Kemp Olson landing page, but they might not go in and put 2 and 2 together. So that's something that we will be doing in the future, just letting people know.
Cause that could-
Cheese days
it
or
could be
anything
a
like that, like, yeah, exactly. We didn't even think about it, so.
And you said there was something having to do with the tear down that.
I don't really care when they tear down. My biggest thing with the trash cans is that they were suggesting that we, I forget the comment, they said they'll clean the bathrooms. We will take care of garbage and we want to use Park City must have cans empty the day of event so we can put our bags in them. All vendors, and yeah, there's gonna be like 15 vendors there. We have very little trash cans there. And that's gonna be for our walk in the park and not for the day in the park, which is not our event. So I'm requesting that they bring their own trash cans.
Yeah.
They're on top of hauling out their trash, and then you guys need to decide what's suitable for setup. Again, tear down, we don't really care, but they are gonna have music till 6. Again, it was requested that that they notify people in the vicinity. So hopefully that gets done, because it didn't get done last year. We also weren't making a huge issue out of it, but I made sure to initial here and,
So we need an amended motion for the.
well, all my notes are in there, so I just kind of want to make sure that council's clear that that's what's in the event permit and agree. If you're gonna change anything on the setup time, then yes. And it says 9:30, it should be 9 o'clock, because I believe Elizabeth said they had to
Can I
change
get
it.
an 11 o'clock set up, or I'll just take Mayor Pro Tem's prerogative and make my own motion?
It's fine too.
I make a motion that we allow set up at 11 o'clock and that they need to bring their own trash cans.
I'll second that.
Discuss that more.
Does 11 o'clock give them enough time?
11 o'clock is when our event ends, and so after that, it's kind of their event.
I guess.
So we want to be respectful of,
But they
That
could
makes
set up the night before.
we can add that, yeah, that was one of my recommendations. I was told that wasn't a possibility, but we can give them that option.
So
These are your options. You can set up the night before or after 11 o'clock.
So when they set up before ahead of time, there were generators on one side of the path. and
Again, there's
cable,
generators going, and they're giving like speeches about,
And you're gonna have people that are gonna say, my frosty thing needs to have the generator running.
yeah.
So
And I would suggest maybe this happening not the same day next year as I get, or maybe several hours later.
I
I
mean,
get,
yeah, maybe 1 to 6
Yeah.
instead of.
Yeah. So I think we'll kind of see how this goes, make sure everything's,
well, fortunately, each vendor's their own person, so if you're a vendor and you can't get set up in an hour, you'll probably
yeah.
figure that out. Anything else? I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. And opposed? Okay, walk in the park, or day in the park passed. So item D is the Augustus TIB sidewalk grant application, and we have an additional. Right?
Everybody has a
And you have an
map.
additional sheet that shows where those sidewalks are. Although I do appreciate the map of Toledo that we got originally. And so there is I did point out that on Augustus, there is a, well, actually, are we approving? We're approving this? Just need a motion and you need to go ahead on this.
I need to know what direction you guys want me to go in. So there's several options there. They are looking for a match. It's not even a match. It's just the city's some funds.
And so this would come out of the streets.
Correct.
I guess my question would be how many funds to add.
Well, you have the thing that you had me sign with the. All of our financials. Because that has that has what the park or the streets fund has in it.
It's a 2. Oh,
Oh, I guess this, not really.
it's this one right here.
There we go. So
So there's the TIB scoring, and I kind of put the notes on here. The project for Augustus and 4th Street would have a city contribution of 0 to 45,000, depending on city match of 0 to 10%. The project for only Augustus Street would have a city contribution of 0 to 33,000, depending on a match of 0 to 10%. If the city chooses to submit both Augustus and 4th Street, is the city open to making a contribution of around 18 to 27,000? So that's more what I'm looking for, 18 to 27,000. This,
And the street.
and we're not signing any contract grant at this time. They need to submit for it. So it could be anywhere from 0 to this amount.
Then what's in the street?
The street fund has 130,469.
Yeah, and we've got to start doing something with our streets. Again, we weren't aware that we needed to be doing the TIB until Marissa jumped in. So last year and this year, we didn't get any funds from TIB, and what they're gonna be paying into this is definitely, I mean, if we're only having a 4%, we should be taking advantage of these projects. I do understand that the 505, the one that you guys on the side of the grocery store needs to be done, and that's something that we just kind of put TIB together based off of previous years. I'll be bringing it to council a lot sooner next year so we can prioritize better. And hopefully we can get that sidewalk next year, but we should start fixing our sidewalks.
Do you need a motion or you just need us to?
Well, I need a motion it's sort of a budget amendment. If I'm gonna be able to spend this, it'll be budgeted into next year, but if I'm gonna apply for this grant, then you guys understand that we're gonna be spending about this much money.
I'll entertain a motion so we can continue to talk about it.
I'll make a motion that we accept the option of Augustus and 4th Street.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Anybody also want to have talk? I'll let y'all go before I do.
Yeah, you threw out some numbers and I got really confused.
So there's a
So what's
letter.
the bottom line?
I need 27 grand.
It looks
It's
like,
18 to 27 possibly.
so what it looks like is that, just kind of backing those off, is that it's Augustus Street is a $450,000 project and right, and so the both of them is a 450,000 and just Augustus is 330,000. And it sounds like we get 1 point for every percent we're willing to put into that. And in order, and the one with the most points, I guess, wins or something. It's like, I think what they're asking for is some skin in the game. And which is kind of leads to my questions of, are these the most important thing for us to work on? Or do we have other things that are more important? Am I wrong that doesn't Augustus on the south side of Augustus have a full sidewalk, or is that the
Only up to South of the street,
only up to Third? Okay,
and that's on both sides.
so that, okay,
Well, no, I believe there's a sidewalk on the side of the church.
Yeah.
There is, it's just really thin. So it's not, they're supposed to be what, 5 feet
Yeah.
wide, and then they're gonna put the gutters and the drainage and all that, so it's not just sidewalks, it's.
And up around.
So are you saying, is this the worst place? Is this where we need to start?
It's one of our priorities on our TIB list, and that's what Gray and Osborne thought we could get funding for, so that's what they went for. There was a couple of them that they submitted for, the other one was the chip seal, and we didn't get that one this year, so.
So this is a good place to
Yeah,
start.
and we can prioritize better next year, but this is where we sit this year.
We have to start somewhere.
Yeah, well, we need to pick back up. I know the other girls, I believe were pretty good on getting the TIB stuff done. I mean, from the files that I found,
Yeah.
they were getting stuff moving along, and it just kind of stopped.
I think Public Works helps with that as well. I think there was a relationship with.
Right, I've got to get the right connections and the right understanding of how it works, which is what I'm doing now. I've introduced myself to a couple people, and then I will probably pull Jay in and to him.
I think come January, you might have some additional help with that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So. Okay. My only concern is that the street fund doesn't bring a lot of money.
Yeah, he's hiding.
The street fund doesn't have a lot of money and doesn't tend to bring a lot of money, and so it's not like this is gonna be replenished in a year if we spend it.
Correct.
And just
We got all that pig money.
we got all that pig money in the wrong,
I know.
in the wrong place.
And we can go for just one, or we could go for both. And there was something that came out today that for city street improvements, we're able to increase sales tax 1% in 26, I think. So that's stuff, so that might help a little bit too, but that'll go towards the street fund. Which doesn't help us right now, but
Yeah, that won't help us right now.
Well, I do think we need to start doing some upkeep, and it looks like that option is actually equal or less than just doing Augustus Street.
and I could be wrong, but I think the more we work with TIB and start these projects, I think the more willing they are to work with us and help us out. So I think getting back into it, I mean, they didn't reach out to us because we kind of went, missing, but as soon as I jumped back in and started the conversations with them and started introducing myself, I mean, I've got like 6 people that came after me and were like, hey, let's get these going. And it seems like, again, the more you participate in their grants, the more they are to like, hey, Toledo, we've got this grant coming out. It's going to work for you. We're going to include you. And that's correct, right? I mean, yeah. Okay. That's kind of the gist I got.
So,
And if we get more points by doing more stuff,
Correct.
I think that makes sense.
so do we want to split the difference there? Or do you want to just call it an even 5%? What's that, about 22K, 23K, 22? Yeah, 22.5.
So 27 is the worst case.
Correct.
No, 45 is the worst case if you want to put in 10%. But I would.
No, it says if the city chooses to submit for both Augustus Street and 4th Street, is
Yeah.
the city open to making contributions of around 4 to 6%?
So these are their words.
Correct.
Okay.
So again, yeah, 27 is, I think, the worst. And again, we can have them put it in. We can give them a number. We have this much to go with. We can have them put it in and see what comes back and approve or deny it. But I think we should say, we've got X amount of dollars. Let's do what we can.
Well, and it's an investment,
Correct.
right? This
And
is
again,
a-
it's the drains, it's everything.
Right.
And I think there's even they're putting the driveway.
Yeah. So what number are y'all thinking? We're gonna,
Well, I'm a little confused from what you just said. It sounds like we need to just say
Yes or no?
yes or no to, they'll decide. I mean, we can put a number in, but they might turn us down because of that number instead of allowing them that.
are they wanting to
4
be able to
6.
choose, or they just want a yes or no, or do they want?
I think it goes off the scoring and it goes off of everyone else that's submitting their grants. So they want to know, are we able to put a 4 to 6%? And we can say we can do 4%, or we can do 5%, or yes, we can do this, or no, we can't, and let them come back. They're going to submit the grant for us. They're doing everything. They already have it ready. They just need, how much are you willing to contribute?
Oh, and it looks like they want them in 2% because it's one additional grant point per 2%.
Right.
Okay. So if we were to say, so just say yes, and the worst case is 27, and that'll leave us 103.
Right. And then we can always
And the
turn it
fund-
down later and just say, we can't. I mean, we don't want to have them put in all this stuff for
Well,
no
that's not
reason,
bad.
but
I mean, if for 27K you can get $450,000 worth of work done, that's not bad.
right. Of prevailing wage. So,
And they still get paid whether we accept it or not.
exactly. And that's just it. I mean, the amount of work that we're getting, it's 27 grand, but they're going to be doing a lot of work.
I know how to course I.
Anything
about
else before
grants?
we call the vote? Nope. Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, I'm opposed. Looks like we might have some sidewalks. Okay, we moved our unfinished business forward, and other business is the Park Coast introduction. Is that happening?
Yes, Miranda and Nick. So Nick is going to be our new park host. If you want to come up and talk, or you kind of can say hello. They were our perfect match. They moved in over the weekend. I think they're on duty as of mostly this weekend, but officially today I've got to get them a couple more things, but this is them.
welcome.
Would you guys like to say anything?
Yeah, so I'll be the one that'll be there 99% of the time. This includes daytime, nighttime, weekends, all the time. I'm not able to physically work anymore as far as an hourly job because I have chronic fatigue syndrome. But I'm very knowledgeable on everything, every aspect of this job, including more than what you guys even know. So I'll be there on a regular basis. But this is the perfect job for me because it's really good. There's no pay to it. I just need to maintain the grounds at my own pace. And so it's something I feel like I can do. I know I can do. I mean, I even started doing it this weekend when I was even told I don't have to start until Monday. Just greeting people and taking care of problems, helping people sign up, register, and pay their camp fees. My wife assisted with that too. Part of my background, joined the military when I was 17. Was a nuclear biological chemical warfare specialist, graduated before I was even 18. Ready to die for my country. Have utmost integrity, work ethic, never been fired from a job in my life. My high skill sets are communication. Feel like going the extra distance to clarify things and to communicate to the right personnel, right things is needed on a daily basis. Always being nice to people, generous to people, kind to people, no matter what their situation is, highly important, especially at a place that is supposed to be there for purely recreational use. You want people to be comfortable there. I have, even since we moved in, I have my front door open, just my screen closed, so everybody can just come up and ask me for anything they want. They've already started to do that. And so I have a good background in apartment maintenance. I've done construction. Last big job I had before I came down with this, I was a manager of Scott Lee Excavating in Vancouver. I oversaw the entire yard, all product coming in, coming out. I was in charge of 2 mechanics of the entire truck fleet, hiring, dispatching, all trucking. I'm very responsible. I take work very seriously. I don't like losing. Anytime you do have a bad day at work, I can't stand it. I'm so OCD with stuff that I'm going to organize things and make right scheduling for myself. And because I'm still new, I'll still lean on Rachel and John quite a bit. John, head of the City Works, and but yeah, I think it's going to be a really good fit for all of us. My wife does work full time, but like I said, I will be there all the time. I don't hardly ever leave, and this is how it's been for the last couple of years, even without this position. But because of my condition too, I have to get up and walk around every once in a while, otherwise it becomes stiff. So this, I will actually, since we've gotten there, I actually walk the grounds every 2 hours.
We've actually had a couple people say, wow, we've seen you more already than we saw the last campus. They're regulars there, so. I mean,
Great.
we've only been there 4 days and that's saying something.
Yeah, and I'll stop by tomorrow. I've got, I'll get your tablet and everything and I'll run through Firefly with you. I've just been super busy, so.
Hey, we bring it and figure it out.
Yeah.
Got people registered.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, guys. Sorry you were so far down.
No, you're
Yeah.
not. You just wanted to
Yeah.
sit here like.
Yes,
that, and
welcome
after
to Toledo.
Hey, they're not 4 hours like Longview, and I can't turn this one into a drinking. That's fine. Just saying.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome.
All right, so next thing is mid-month workshop.
I don't have anything. I will be rolling out budget stuff. You guys already have the budget schedule.
Okay.
The first thing that we're gonna be reviewing is revenue, because we can't really spend money without looking at revenue, but I don't have anything that I need to workshop
What about the
necessarily.
code book?
The code book?
What about the
I
code?
emailed them yesterday asking for an update. I haven't heard back. So it should be any day now. That's what I keep telling people. Any day now.
I think that we have the project coming up and talking about the code book, since we're gonna be approving a lot of things, might be a good thing.
So you're wanting to workshop the code book, because the code book's already voted on and it's gonna,
Right, but then it's become words, right?
right.
So I mean, we voted on the, yes, let's do that, and so the words are coming in, so now we have an opportunity to see the words now, right? Or-
Yeah, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I think breaking it up kind of how we did before, once we have it and looking at chapter or title by title. I don't know that we want to start that before budget though, because I'm not gonna have it.
Do you have German in you? You know, they take all.
I do have German in
all
me.
of August off, right?
I do.
Okay, good with that.
Spearfest.
That was October.
It's always beer when you're German.
Tests running.
Apologies.
The budget schedule was in your last agenda packet, I believe. It was an informational and it's broken up by dates that we're gonna have workshops, what we're gonna be reviewing, what we'll be discussing, when we're gonna have our public hearings. It's a tentative schedule, but I'm gonna,
So it sounds like you want this month's mid-month off so that we can save all the room for the other fun things.
voting season.
Okay.
No, if you guys have something, we can, but I honestly don't have anything. I don't want to jump into budget before it's time, because it gets.
We'll have plenty of that.
So the budget schedule was the second meeting in July.
Where the schedule came out?
Yeah.
I believe it was in your last agenda packet. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
I'm still stuck in July, like it's July. So if you guys don't have anything, then no, we don't need one.
Great. Let's move on then. Item C is 334, resolution 334A, a resolution authorizing the disposal of surplus city property through online public auction in accordance with city policy and RCW 33.22.283. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we accept resolution number 334A.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second.
So we've been cleaning out this back office. A lot of you haven't been back there, but we're finding boxes upon boxes of stuff. There's stuff back here and there's like all kinds of stuff. So there's obviously all these things that we've pulled up. Harley's been doing research on like the best place to surplus them. So this is kind of where we're at. We're probably gonna do like a government surplus site and just auction them off, but we have to publish where they're gonna be surplus 2 weeks in a row at the Chronicle. So we're gonna do them all at once. We're just trying to get them set up, and so we're just boxing this stuff up and setting it aside. And then boxing the next one up and setting it aside, and then we'll do one big batch of surplus.
Excellent.
So this is definitely stuff we don't need.
Yeah, what's it at right now, the bike air? It was at like 20
2300
this morning.
on previous this morning, yeah. That's what, yeah, with the week yet to go.
The beginning of the list.
Yeah, and it's all, it's like. It's old jetpacks, old iPhones. We're gonna turn it into revenue somehow, but
Not jetpacks.
they're jetpacks, yeah. No, they're jetpacks.
Jetpacks, is that what you do on the water?
No, they're
High
they're
quality
Wi-Fi jetpacks.
10-year-old.
The hotspots, they call them
That's an
jetpacks too, I
HP.
think. I think that's the Verizon name for them is
I
jetpacks.
thought those were the ones that you go up in the air.
Yeah.
We don't have any jetpacks. The hotspots, they say jetpack on them. Again, the ink cartridges, so we could always reach out to other cities, but I mean, this is a lot of stuff that we're trying to just get rid of.
Mhm.
So there's I think 2 surplus sites that we're looking at, and they're government surplus sites, so. And it's almost like eBay, you just list them, take pictures, and so we'll do it all at once, but. You guys are gonna be getting one of
Yeah,
these,
sounds
a meeting.
like a lot of-
It is, it's tons.
Any more questions before we vote on this? No, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? It passes. And now I have 3 liquor licenses. Want to do these all in this one, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Bateau LLC twice. And I believe that's so that they can be in Thursday Market, or where are they selling liquor inside their city there?
I think they just send us out of city limits things a lot, so the only thing that we need to focus on is the
Okay.
shortstop.
So the shortstop is the one we really need to worry about, and I can't ask. the
There's been
chief
no
if there's
issues
been
there.
issues, okay. So I'll entertain a motion for the shortstop's liquor license.
Renewal.
Renewal.
I make a motion, we approve the shortstop liquor license renewal. Was there any complaints?
No.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any other comment? I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. And opposed? Motion passes. Now, on to public input. Oh, wait. Okay.
Cindy Samco, city volunteer, July 7th is your budget schedule. Thank you. And Elizabeth failed to mention that Esther Bordy's quilt is actually on display here tonight. And there is raffle tickets available for it. It is king size. It is also the last quilt available that Esther made. So there are flyers over on the table with a QR code that'll take you to a purchase page for the raffle tickets. But please come take a look at it, and
It's really nice.
it's beautiful.
And as part of the Walk in the Park, all of those proceeds go into the park
Yeah,
fund.
correct.
And it's a collector's item.
And it's a collector's item. Thank you.
Cindy.
Anybody else?
Do it, Kyle.
Kyle Wheeler,
Yes.
all I had to say was play AC/DC at my memorial.
Okay, we don't. Joe?
Joanna Jones, real quick, I just wanted to clarify, when it was originally done, the walk in the park was short. Still is really short, and to extend it, the idea was, when it was initially done, that it would continue on. It was always supposed to be a day in the park with the walk, the first part. But it was to bring funding into the park. And my question for you is the city getting anything from this?
We do not get anything from the day in the park, no.
See, and I don't know how that's evolved into, this is now somebody else's.
The old person that was running the day in the park, there was some conflict with them and the city, and so we decided, and I don't know if that was the final reason why we split it off, but it was made 2 different events last year because it was easier, but we did not get any money
And we didn't.
from the day in the park, and I did.
And we didn't get a t-shirt either.
Yeah.
I signed up for t-shirt.
And I
got a
spoke
day in the
to-
park t-shirt.
Right, so Rachel was working with the day in the park last year, Rachel Phillips. And she was the one that kind of did all the money side of it. I don't know that they made much of a profit, but yeah, there was nothing donated to Toledo last year from them. We got in 2023, I think there was $150 donated. I think in 23 we made a total of maybe $500. Cindy actually helped get everything online last year to where we weren't taking cash anymore. In 23 it was all cash. Last year it wasn't, so 2024, and I believe not taking cash and having it all online, and our sponsors, we made $1,600, and that was just day in the park. That was just walk in the park without day in the park. So it's easier to have the 2 separate events. They're not.
But are they a nonprofit now, or what are they?
They're for profit.
For profit,
They're, well, okay.
which is why I'm sitting here to protect the Walk in the Park.
Yeah, we all just get along.
You try.
Thanks, Joe.
Kyle, that was really all you had?
I know.
Specifically, Black and Black, we have a different song.
I think Back in Black is
I'm a fan of that
the
song.
most appropriate memorial AC/DC song, right?
Quite maybe. All right, that's it for public comment. I will entertain a motion that we adjourn.
Motion we adjourn. I'll second it.
All in favor?
I.
And opposed, good. Meetings adjourned. Thank you all for coming.